Hi students, welcome to Alphos e-learning chemistry classes for second year. The running chapter is organic chemistry and now we are in session number 20. In previous sessions we discussed about the properties of alkyl halides and they are nothing but the characteristic properties like nucleophilic substitutions and the elimination reactions and the reactions with metals. Just I provided different reagents that are reacting with these alkyl halides forming different products, but actually the mechanism involved in these nucleophilic substitutions and eliminations already I discussed in reaction mechanisms in GOC videos. But again here we have to recall the highlighted points, only just what are the highlighted points with an example and how it is happening in case of SN1 or SN2 and what are the favorable conditions for these and what is the reactivity order, and then in case of elimination what are the favorable conditions. All these we have to discuss in this chapter, and let me discuss all these. It is nothing but nucleophilic substitutions. Nucleophilic substitutions. Here first let me explain different reagents that are of giving the same type of attacking species, but the product is in a different manner. First let me give the difference and thereafter we will go for the mechanism. Say for example, in previous session KCN is one of the reagent for nucleophilic substitution. In addition to KCN, AgCN is also used as the nucleophilic substitution reagent, is it not? But in these two cases, when it is KCN is reacting with RX, no doubt at all, here RCN, that is cyanide, is the major product, just you remember. And in case of AgCN, when it is treating with RX, it is of majorly forming isocyanide as the major product, but not cyanide. The reason is simple. Here KCN and AgCN, these two are existing in tautomeric form like this. As we know, both carbon and nitrogen, these two are ready to donate the lone pair of electron. Both are having the capacity, clear, and their existence is this one and the other one is NK. That is, this may be present like this or this may be present, but here also AgCN, AgNC, both these two present, but of that this is major in case of KCN and in case of AgCN this is the major form. So when it is the major, most of KCN will release CN minus. That's why this is the major product. And you remember, in addition to this, even though it is forming this as major product, fraction of RNC is also formed, but it is minor product. Nearly 10 to 20% of the product is formed. That indicates the existence of both these two forms in the solution. Here it is the major product, that is isocyanide is the major product. Here also some sort of cyanide product is formed. So it is a proof for the existence of the two forms of this. Like that, in these two reagents, even though they seem to be of releasing the same type of attacking group, but they actually, if we observe, the products are major products are different in these two reactions, clear. And now in a similar manner two more reagents are there, that is nothing but KNO2 and AgNO2. Here also when KNO2 is reacting with RX, just you remember, it is forming RONO, that is oxygen is bonded to alkyl group, that is the major product, and RNO2 is the minor product, just you remember. And now in case of AgNO2, here when it is of reacting with RX, it gives RNO2 as the major product and RONO as the minor product. Now you can observe the difference in the fraction, contribution fraction for the product in the formation of product. Again here also we should know what is the reason. The reason is nothing but this KNO2 is existing in tartameric form as KONO, and here also it is of having tartameric form AgONO, like that. Are you following? But here this is the major. The reason is nothing but purely ionic it is, and when it is purely ionic, more electronegativity is the favorable condition, you know already from chemical bonding. So here when K plus and O minus, oxygen is more electronegative when compared to nitrogen. That's why K plus and O minus, these two are present in this form majorly, and that's why that product is major. And in this case AgONO and AgNO2, Ag is preferably forming covalent compounds, and in that covalent compound the less electronegative nitrogen is of very interest. Here between these two it is highly polar bond will form. In such a case the electronegativity difference should be somewhat less when compared to ionic compounds. That's why it is majorly existing like this, and it is forming this product as the major product. That is happening in these two reagents. I think you are clear with these two concepts. And now let us go for SN and elimination reactions. Already in previous sessions, that is nothing but in video classes related to GOC, reactions and reagents and reaction mechanisms, I gave the details of different reagents and the mechanisms, how they are happening, all these things. But here again, as it is a part of this chapter, once again we have to study them, only the salient features of different reactions. And first of all, it is SN reactions and eliminations. Just you remember, these two are the characteristic properties of alkyl halides. Clear? And then when the characteristic properties of alkyl halides, these two, the same are also the characteristic properties for alcohols, but in alkyl halides it is prior compared to this, and whereas in alcohols it will be prior compared to this. Clear? And now when it is SN reactions and when it is eliminations, the major difference where we can expect elimination, where we can expect SN reaction. Already in previous two three videos this discussion has been happened. Here also again I am giving, just you remember, elimination is happened with base. Elimination will happen with base, and whereas nucleophilicity is leading to SN reaction. That is nothing but nucleophilic substitution. That means if any species, say for example B minus is a chemical species, it is of having two natures, dual nature it is having, both basic nature is there and nucleophilic nature is there. Just you remember, basic nature means eliminating tendency, nucleophilicity means substitution tendency. Clear? And now how this can behave as base? If it is strong base, it will make or abstract beta hydrogen from substrate. It will abstract beta hydrogen from substrate. If it is of having sufficient strength, it always do abstract the beta hydrogen from the substrate. And just you remember, this beta hydrogen abstraction will happen in two different manner. Just you observe, say for example if it is the compound where some nucleophile, existing nucleophile, say for example here as we are considering alkyl halide is there, and now it is one of the hydrogen present on, it is alpha carbon and it is beta carbon. Clear? And now in case if this B minus is abstracting this hydrogen then this sigma bond will slowly move to form pi bond with other carbon, and thereby this halogen will move out in the form of halide. This is creating an intermediary state where this carbon hydrogen bond weakens and carbon pi bond is formed, and this already existing halide as a nucleophile is going out. This state is known as transition state, and ultimately it will go out, and it will go out with this B minus, and thereafter it results to the formation of alkene like this. Now, instead of making like this, if this B minus is replacing, just you observe here, the same reaction I am writing, just it is nothing but giving the salient features of this reaction. Clear? And now easily when we are giving the comparison, simply you can observe, in case of this, if B minus, instead of abstracting this H plus or hydrogen, beta hydrogen, it is beta carbon, it is alpha carbon. Why it is not abstracting H plus? Because it is not sufficiently strengthened. Not sufficiently strengthened means it is not having sufficient stamina or strength, energy to pull this electron. And in such a case, what it can do is, just it will go to attack on this carbon where already the existence nucleophile, that is nothing but halide ion, is present. Clear? Here also we are getting a transition state like this. Here this beta carbon is not having any effect of this, and now this one slowly it B minus is approaching, and this carbon temporarily will get a 5 bonding tendency like this, a 5 bond tendency, 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4 5 bond. And now simply we can write like this also, this is 1 2 3 4 5. This is also transition state. After transition, this will attack to this and it will go out. Now what we are getting is substituted product like this. It is having B minus here and hydrogens, that is whatever the other groups present, and X minus is going out. So in this case, the reagent beta is abstracting hydrogen, then we can say that it is behaving like a base, just you remember. And in this case, instead of abstracting hydrogen H plus, it is of attacking on this carbon where, that is alpha carbon where nucleophile present, and now it is behaving only as nucleophile but not as a base, just you remember. And now we may have the doubt, sir, substrate is same, reagent is same, then which will happen, how we know? Just you remember, it is both the same are given to know or to make you to know what is the nature of B minus when it is behaving like this, or what is the nature of B minus when it is behaving like this. Just to remember, any reagent behaves like it is said to be a base, strong base. And you remember, my dear students, again I am repeating, base, what we are using the term base, strong base, all these, it is not in inorganic or in physical chemistry. There we are using the basic strength term only to explain how far the reagent or this chemical species is ready to donate the OH minus or to release OH minus. A strong OH minus releasing group is said to be a strong base. Best example, NaOH, KOH, like that. But in this case, that's why to make you to understand the difference, in organic chemistry when it is of going for elimination, the term base is not related to the strength of the species to release OH minus. You remember, even that OH minus, actually already in ionic equilibrium we learned that in any solution the strongest base that exists is nothing but OH minus. Is it not? But you remember, my dear students, this OH minus in this organic chemistry is a failed base. That means it is unable to abstract H plus. In these reactions, that is in organic reactions, this the so-called strong base in physical and inorganic is now behaving only as nucleophile. And dear students, you remember, for any reagent, if any chance appears to behave like a base, then it always give preference to this basic nature compared to nucleophilicity or nucleophile. That means for a reagent, if there is any chance to behave like a base, it will be given utmost priority. And now then what is the meaning of behaving like nucleophile? In case if they fail to behave like a base, that is they fail to create any elimination, then the second option is behaving like nucleophile. And now the question is, if it is not strong base, what is the strong base? And you remember, any other bases which are stronger than this OH minus, best examples already given, it is OR minus, because ROH is weak acid compared to H2O. So from that the conjugate base, and NH2 minus, it is also a strong base when compared to OH minus, because NH3 is weakest acid, and R minus, RH, that is alkane, is the weakest acid. So all these groups are behaving as bases, and OH minus and weaker than OH minus, say for example X minus, HX is strong acid when compared to water. So X minus will be automatically weak base compared to OH minus. So OH minus it itself is failed to behave as a base. So automatically any base which is less basic than OH minus also fail to behave like bases, and thereby they are unable to create any elimination. Instead of that, they are going for SN, nucleophilic substitution. I think now you are getting the clarity. Clear? That means OH minus and less basic than OH minus. How to get it? Any acid which is more acidic than H2O, like HCl, HI, HBr, all these are stronger acids than H2O. So as we know, as per Bronsted theory, automatically Bronsted-Lowry theory, a strong base will have a weak acid will have a strong conjugate base. So here these acids being strong, their conjugate base will be weak. And simply for NEET and mains purpose, you can remember only alcohols and NH2 already. That's why in previous session I provided you the eliminating agents. If there you observed, eliminating agents are what we are using is alcoholic KOH or NaOH. In alcoholic KOH or NaOH, there is OR minus. That OR minus is behaving like a base. That's why it is eliminating agent. And instead of alcoholic KOH or NaOH, if you are using aqueous NaOH or KOH, then simply it is creating substitution forming alcohols, because aqueous OH minus is not sufficiently strong base to create elimination. Clear? That is the difference between nucleophile and the base. And how the nucleophilicity is depending on the base. Actually it is directly related, and a strong base is a strong nucleophile. That means nucleophilicity is directly related to basicity, basic strength. And now in case that statement is true in case of aprotic solvents, and now in protic solvent what happened, that will become reverse. Why? Just you remember, in previous session also we discussed protonated nucleophile or protonated base will lose its strength. A strong base will now become, after protonation, a strong base is nothing but a strong nucleophile. As we know, a strong base, as nucleophilicity is directly related to basic strength, a strong base is a strong nucleophile. But once the strong base or strong nucleophile is protonated, immediately its basic strength or its nucleophilicity will come down, and because of that the other one which is till now weaker will behave like a stronger. So that's why in case of aprotic solvent, the nucleophilicity is directly related to basicity, but in case of protic solvent, because of protonation, the strong will become now weak. That's why it is inversely related to, nucleophilicity is inversely related to basicity in protic solvents. You have to observe, you have to go through the different examples that are present in your assignment or present in your different exercise books. Clear? And if you are having clarity on this, then you can guess which is going. Simply you can remember alcoholic KOH or NaOH and KNH2 or NaNH2, these two are the best eliminating agents. Clear? And now if you observe, this is elimination and it is substitution. Already one mechanism is given to explain the B minus nature. So B minus when eliminate it is base, B minus when substitute it is nucleophile. Clear? And now simply we can say that in this one, in this mechanism, again indirectly I provided one mechanism, that is nothing but in this case where you are observing this elimination and substitution taking place. In these two cases you observe, this is base elimination, here nucleophile substitution. This mechanism is involving only transition state in both these two cases. There is no reaction intermediate. This type of mechanism where there is no reaction intermediate, just it is nothing but in a single step, that type, here it is elimination. In this elimination, in this single step, this substrate molecule and this reagent molecule both present, hence it is bimolecular reaction. Just you remember, it is bimolecular. Here also the nucleophile and the substrate both are present in this state, in this step, and thereby it is also bimolecular. Just you can observe, both substrate and reagent, both molecules present. So it is also bimolecular. Now it is elimination, it is SN, but molecularity is 2 and 2. So it is SN2 mechanism. Here it is elimination but bimolecular, hence it is E2 mechanism. E2 mechanism, no reaction intermediate. SN2 mechanism, no reaction intermediate. Clear? And that is about the reaction. Here when in SN2 mechanism you can observe that B minus is attacking on the back side. So already it is discussed, it is nothing but backside attack, and because of that backside attack, in general we can say that the configuration of the molecule will change if that molecule, that substrate is stereomer, and thereby it is known as inversion of the configuration found by Walden, and hence it is known as Walden's inversion. Are you following? And in case of elimination, in elimination, if the substrate elimination here leads to, it is following Hoffman or Sturgeff products, Sturgeff's rule. In general, in case if there is any scope to form 2 or more elimination products, then the major product will always be more substituted product. More substituted product. For that purpose, I have to provide one example to you. I will provide that one. So the mechanism that is involving in SN2 and E2 is also completed. And now let us go for the mechanism of unimolecular reactions. That is, in case if the reagent is behaving as base in elimination reactions and the elimination is following only unimolecular mechanism, or if the substrate that is a reagent is behaving as nucleophile, but here the mechanism is following unimolecularity. How it happens, let us discuss here. Again, let me consider tertiary butyl. This is CH3, C, CH3, CH3, X. The same, let me explain here. The same CH3, 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 X. And now B minus is there. It is the reagent actually that is going to attack on both these two. Clear? And now, before its involvement, that is before it is attacking on the substrate, these two are now tend to cleave with their bond in the solvent. Mostly the solvent will be polar solvent. It is of forming CH3, CH3, CH3 plus and X minus. Here also the same thing will happen. The bond will cleave and it is forming CH3, CH3, CH3 plus X minus. And now our intention, that is B minus is already there. This B minus, it is ready to attack, but you remember this is step 1. In both these two cases, we don't know whether it is going for elimination or substitution, because this reagent is not at all involved in this step 1. You observe. Clear? And now, after step 1, what is the product formed? It is CH3, CH3, CH3 plus. It is the substrate. It is the substrate because it is not the final product. Just it is reaction intermediary product. Clear? Carbocation. Here also we can expect this CH3, C plus CH3, CH3. And now in step 2, this is the substrate. In step 2, this is the substrate. And now the action of B minus starts. If that B minus is able to abstract one of the hydrogen from this substrate, which is facilitating for formation of pi bond, this leads to CH3, CH3 double bond CH2. And in case this B minus is unable to abstract H plus, instead of that, if it is going to attack on this, where it is forming CH3, 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 B like this. Now, I think you can easily guess the nature of this B minus. In this reaction, this B minus is a base because it is creating elimination. And in this reaction, this B minus is behaving as nucleophile, that's all. It is not a base, because if it is base, it should create elimination. But is it possible? Is it eliminating? No, just it is going and substituted. Substitution, it is nothing but it is just added to the positive part. But altogether from this complex to this, when we observe, X is now replaced by B. That is nothing but substitution. X is substituted. Finally, if any person observe this in the beginning and at the end, if you observe this, simply you can understand that, okay, in the starting material there is X and in the ending material there is B in place of X. That means that X is replaced. That replacing is nothing but known as substitution. And here X is going out in the form of X minus, it is a nucleophile. B is coming in the form of B minus, it is a nucleophile. So simply we can say that a nucleophile is replacing another nucleophile, and because of that it is nucleophilic substitution. And you remember, my dear students, like replaces like. A nucleophile can replace a nucleophile, an electrophile can replace an electrophile, but it is reverse will never happen. Clear? So like this it is happening. And now coming to the rate determining steps. This is slow step because bond, here you can observe, it is of forming, it is of cleaving the bond. It is a rate determining step. Here also, this is step 1 is rate determining step. And now you observe, in rate determining step, is there any involvement of this that is reagent? No, only the substrate molecule on its own is involved. Only the substrate molecule on its own is involved to create the reaction intermediate carbocation. So as in step 1, the slow step, rate determining step, involves only one molecule, it is known as unimolecular reaction. Here also it is unimolecular. And now you observe when it is unimolecular for both elimination and SN reaction. That is the reason why eliminations and substitutions, nucleophilic substitutions are always in competition, because in this case you observe in step 1 both these two are having the same scenario. Actually after the substitution we say that it is nothing but SN reaction, and in this case after this elimination, hence it is elimination. But this elimination and SN we can observe after the second step. In case of first step both are same. So by observing the first step itself, it is not possible to consider whether this first step is leading to form the elimination product or to form the substitution product. Are you following? And now when the second reaction happen, we are observing what is the functioning of this B minus. Slowly we are observing what the B minus will do to the substrate, that is nothing but the carbocation. As a reaction intermediate, carbocation is formed in step 1, and towards that carbocation this B minus is behaving like what? If it is behaving like, and it is having the stamina, that is nothing but the strength to behave like a to eliminate or to abstract the hydrogen from beta carbon, then this is behaving as base. Clear? But that base nature is observed in second step, and if it is unable to abstract H plus from beta carbon, then what it is doing? Simply it is of getting attached to positive charge carbon, that is nothing but it is behaving like a nucleophile. Now in both these two, when step 2 is of giving the information related to whether the B minus is a base, B minus is a nucleophile. Okay, with that one we can observe what is the reaction happened. But in step 1 only one molecule is involved in both these two, that step 1 is same, and there only one molecule is involved, hence it is unimolecular reaction. Clear? But ultimately it leads to elimination, hence it is E1, elimination unimolecular, and here it is SN1 because it is nucleophilic substitution unimolecular. Clear? That is, in previous case in rate determining step, two molecules are involved, hence bimolecular, but here in rate determining step only one molecule is involved, and hence it is unimolecular reactions. Are you clear? And now the question is, in case of SN reaction, SN1 reaction, after formation of the carbocation, if the substrate is a stereomer, there after forming carbocation B minus is having the chance to attack on both sides, and thereby it is majorly, already we discussed in previous session, SN1 reaction for a stereomer leads to formation of racemic mixture. Actually racemic mixture with different proportions, that is 50% retention of the configuration and 50% inversion of the configuration. Most of the people feel like that, but you remember in that racemic mixture formation for stereomer which is involved in SN1 reaction mechanism, inversion is 80%, retention is 20%. It is nothing but because of formation of intimate ionic pair. Because of this intimate ionic pair, front side attack is somewhat of facing some restriction, and because of that restricted attack from front side, the retention is reduced drastically. So preferably the nucleophile will attack from back side, which is of ultimately leads to inversion. So no doubt at all, it is forming racemic mixture, but not with 50-50 retention and inversion. It is 80% inversion, 20% retention. And now coming to E1 elimination. In E1 elimination, in case if there is any chance to form two or more alkenes, that is nothing but elimination products, just you remember the major product is always the more substituted product, which is of given as per Sedgwick's rule. As per Sedgwick's rule, E1 mechanism always leads to the formation of major product as more substituted product. Are you following? All the details on the reaction energy diagrams, all these already we discussed in GOC videos. Once again you can go through that videos, students, and because of time being we are of discussing only up to this level, and in coming session we will go for the reactions with the metals. and thereafter the remaining part of the halogenated compounds. Okay.